In high school, why were we not taught how to apply for a job, do our taxes, or plan for retirement? These are just a few of the things that high school did not teach us. Welcome back, guys. My name is Matt, and this is Matt's Millennial Money. Today we're talking about the money lessons that you wish you learned in high school. It's obvious that the American school system is lacking in preparing its graduates for the real world. And I know I'm not the only one who was sitting in math class in high school wondering when the hell I was going to use the Pythagorean theorem ever again. Well, I'm sure there's a huge list of things that you did not learn in high school. Today we're going to focus on personal finance. If you're a college student or even an adult, and you feel like your financial high school education fell short, you're not alone. These are 10 money management skills that every high schooler should have known before graduating. If you haven't mastered them yet, take time now to do so to prepare yourself for the future. And make sure to stick around till the end, because the last one is one that I know each and every one of you are affected by every single day. Number one is going to be creating a budget and start saving early. Budgeting comes down to one thing, and that's living below your means. Unfortunately, this is one thing that most adults were never taught. Being able to think through a budget can make all the difference when it comes to your financial security. Saving 10 to 15% of your money in your teens or even your 20s can set you on the right path. If you wait till later in your life to start saving, you're probably going to have to save minimum 20% for you to achieve any kind of financial goal. Learning budgeting is simply a matter of tracking expenses and making smart choices as to where your money is going. More than likely, you're going to earn more money in your 30s versus your 20s. And you're going to earn more money in your 40s versus your 30s. The key to saving is to do your absolute best when it comes to avoiding something called the lifestyle creep. Do the creep, and do the creep. This concept pretty much illustrates the way the majority of Americans live their lives today. When we get a car, we want the more expensive car. When we get a home, we want a bigger home. Budget, save your money, and live within your means. Next, number two is going to be how compound interest works. Of all the financial concepts that should be taught in school, this is probably number one and can make the biggest difference when it comes to a kid's future. Kids need to understand how compound interest can work for them, but also work against them. Compound interest makes a sum of money grow faster than simple interest. In addition to earning returns on the money that you invest, you also earn those returns at the end of every compounding period, which could be daily, monthly, quarterly, or annually. This is why compound interest causes your wealth to grow faster. It's also why you don't need to put away as much money to reach your goals. Unfortunately, compound interest can also work against you when it comes to loans. One type of loan that many people in their 20s, 30s, and even 40s are familiar with are student loans. Every year or month, whatever the interest rate specific to your loan is, the amount you have to repay just continues to get bigger. Meaning the longer it takes you to pay off that loan, the more money you're going to owe in interest. Since federal student loans are issued annually, it's pretty simple to calculate how much you're going to owe in interest at the end of every single year. What you're going to do is take the annual amount, that's going to be the principal, multiply it by the fixed interest rate, and then divide it by 365 days. So principal times interest rate over 365. Here's an example. Your principal is $5,000. Interest rate is 5% over 365 days. That's 68 cents per day that you're accruing on the loan. In 1 year, you would have accrued $248.20. Like I said before, compound interest grows year over year, which means it builds upon itself. And just so you're aware, that $5,000 example, the $248.20, which is the interest after 1 year, that's after the first year. That builds upon itself every single year, and every single year that you don't pay it off fully. The longer it takes you to pay off that loan, the more money you're going to owe in the long run. Next up, number three is going to be how to save money. When it comes to saving or investing, you pay yourself first. This is a simple concept where you either save or invest with the first money you get, and then you live on the rest. We all know that if we wait till the end of the month to then save and then invest, we're going to have nothing left. You need to learn how to prioritize your saving goals so you have a clear idea of where to start saving. An example, if you know you're going to have to replace your car at some point in the future, start saving your money now for that. And there's not one type of account to keep your money in, there's all sorts of types. You might choose a high yield savings account, a checking account, CD, money market account. There's so many out there. You do want some return on your money, but that's not going to be the first and only consideration that you want to take. You should be looking for a very safe place to put your money, one with a high degree of liquidity and minimal investment expense. Number four, how to invest. Kids should understand at the bare minimum their options for investing. For example, they should know the basics when it comes to stocks, mutual funds, and real estate. Investing involves putting your money into something that's eventually going to give you a return on your money. You're putting your money into something with a hope and expectation that it'll grow. Savings are sometimes guaranteed, but investments are not. Once you've got savings, you'll absolutely want to invest. Inflation will almost always outpace the interest rate that you possibly could get on a savings account, which means as that money might be sitting in a savings account, inflation is passing that money by. And this is why you need to start investing as soon as possible. Next up, number five is going to be how credit cards work. When you need to make a purchase or pay a bill, credit cards can offer both convenience and the potential that you might earn your money back in some sense when it comes to rewards on that credit card. At the same time, you can use credit cards to build credit history, assuming you're making good financial choices. Credit cards can be very useful, but I feel like when you hear about it in conversation, it's usually about a credit card ruining somebody's life completely. Credit cards can be used as a credit building tool if used responsibly. Paying your bill on time, maintaining a low balance, and only opening credit cards if completely necessary is how you maintain good credit. Next up, number six is going to be how insurance works. Insurance is almost as inevitable as taxes. It affects us all. The general rule, if you can't afford to replace it, insure it. This is something that everybody needs to know. Emergencies happen all the time, but most Americans can't even cover a $500 emergency. There are many different types of insurance, whether it be car insurance, health insurance, pet insurance. The whole reason for getting insurance is to reduce risk. No matter how hard we try in our life, there's always going to be some level of risk in everything that we do, as well as how much risk that we're willing to tolerate. At the minimum, kids need to know about life insurance, health insurance, car insurance, disability insurance, and renter's insurance. Along with that comes different types of life insurance, the difference between liability and full coverage car insurance. Most importantly, they need to know when and why they need specific types of insurance. Next up, number 7 is going to be how to make large purchases. From homes to cars to vacations, eventually at some point, kids are going to need to make some large purchase in their life. They need to be prepared. Even something as simple as teaching kids that large purchases don't always have to be financed. Kids should be taught the power of automated savings and automated investments. It's easy to save $1,200 a year if you automate $100 a month. Before I make a large purchase, I consider what features I want in that product. This way I'm not swayed by marketing or reviews or anything like that. I give myself plenty of time to realize either I don't need this item or I might be able to find a sale on that item. If I realize I am interested in buying this item, I usually check social networks, talk to people, read reviews, and sometimes if it's an item that I'm completely new to, I sometimes look to buy a used one, if possible. What qualifies as a big purchase generally varies from person to person, and for that reason it's important to make sure that you're financially ready to make that purchase. Next up, number 8 is going to be how to prepare for emergencies. Something I've said in the past and something I'll say again. Save at the minimum a $1,000 emergency fund. When it comes to your finances, you need to be ready for the unexpected. An emergency fund is a crucial part of finances. An emergency fund is a set amount of cash generally held in a liquid savings account, meaning it's easily accessible and you can take it out at any time that you need to. I don't know of any financial guru that doesn't recommend for an emergency fund, and still so many Americans don't have one. More often than not, the reason people are in debt is because of emergencies. Credit cards are probably the most common way adults handle emergencies. I'm not sure if it's credit cards educating kids or if it's just the kids deciding for themselves. But paying for an emergency with a credit card is probably one of the worst things that you can do. Once again, if you had that savings, that emergency could have easily been paid for, hopefully, with that money. Also, keep in mind that you should be parking that emergency fund in a savings account that does give you high interest. The higher your annual percentage yield is, the more money that's going to grow that much faster. And like I mentioned earlier, that's called compounding interest. Next up, number 9, how student loans work. Before taking on loans, kids need to understand what those loans are and how long it's actually going to take to pay those off. Student loans are not a must-have in life. There are definitely ways around it. And college is not for everyone, despite what schools are teaching you. There are certification courses. You could go into the trades. You could be a plumber, an electrician. But if college is for you, like I said, student loans are not the only way. There are scholarships, grants, work studies. You can join the military. All these things are great options that I feel like a lot of people do overlook. The far majority of the time, student loans, for the most part, do not go away, even if you declare bankruptcy. As tuition continues to rise, and the need for a college degree in pretty much every job becomes the reality, student loans play a huge role in your financial life. And student loans can be scary and completely overwhelming sometimes. But knowing what you're getting into when it comes to the loan can take some of that terror out of borrowing money for your future success. Next up, our last one, and probably the most important one, is going to be number 10, and that's how taxes work. Many kids will begin paying taxes before they even graduate high school. They're already paying taxes when they go down to the local gas station and buy a bottle of water, for example. The overall concept of taxes is pretty easy to explain for the most part, but not when you look at it closely or have to explain it to somebody that's really not familiar with it. We're taxed when we earn and we're taxed when we buy. And unfortunately, it doesn't end there. Most people just accept this the way it is, but there are ways to lower your tax burden. At a minimum, school curriculum should cover the basics of taxes and the types that there are. Most adults don't even understand their W-2. Sometimes there are parts of the W-2 I don't understand. America has one of the most complicated tax systems in the entire world. And unfortunately, it's becoming more complex every single year. In the end, whether you agree with paying your taxes or not, you probably have April 15th circled on your calendar as one of the most frustrating days of the year. Aside from maybe daylight savings time, I don't want less sleep, I want more sleep. High school may have prepared you for college academically, but you may be less ready to handle your money, especially if you have student loans. The best time to put individuals on the path to success with their finances is at a young age. Even kids can understand the basic concepts of money, whether it be saving money or how to earn money. But for some reason, it seems like after high school is when a lot of people learn about money and financial management. Despite all the education that Americans receive, our financial education is severely low and needs to improve ASAP. And with that being said, guys, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. My name is Matt. This is Matt's Millennial Money. And if you're new, make sure to subscribe so you stay up to date on every video. Make sure to give it a like, and we'll talk soon. Take care.